So hey everybody, welcome back to Bow and Arrow Garage. Behind me is the C3 Corvette, and we're going to jump back on this thing today. I know a couple of videos ago, or maybe even the last video, I talked about that I was going to make shorter videos and try to put them out more often, but quite frankly it just didn't work with my schedule. I'm just so busy right now, so I've just come to the conclusion that I'm just going to have to try to make videos when I can, and when I can't, unfortunately, I'm just not going to be able to. So right now I want to get back into this thing. I got a new fuel tank and the fuel system for this LS swap, but I can't put it in until I address an issue on the car. So I talked about it before that when I bought this car, it was used as a parts car, and when people disassembled it, they didn't really take a lot of caution and care. They just kind of ripped and tore things out. And so one of the issues that I knew I was going to have to address was the fuel filler cap. They had pulled it out, and when they took it out, they had broken the fiberglass tangs that hold in the filler cap. And so I went through last week and I tried to repair it, and it just didn't work. So I ended up ordering a new fuel cap for it. And so I'm going to kind of just show you the process of me getting that thing installed. It's been a little bit of a headache, but I worked on it a lot last night. I'm to a point now where I'm just waiting for the epoxy to dry, and then I'm going to finish it up. So anyways, I'll kind of get the camera turned around, I'll show you where I'm at, and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, so I picked up this Scott Drake gas door kit. It's a CSX-9030-A. Basically, it ends up looking like this. So what I'm going to end up doing is mounting this on the back of the car, and I'm going to purchase one of the Easy Fill gas tank caps. Basically, it's got a spring-loaded plunger, and you just stick your fuel nozzle in it. Once you're finished fueling, you pull it out and it pops up and it seals it off so it doesn't leak. So this door has a couple of fasteners that it's attached to the fiberglass with. So I'm going to end up having to glass the thing in, like I said. So I'm going to get inside, I'm going to get changed, and I'm going to get to work on this thing, and then we'll show you where we're at. So anyways, I've got a lot of work ahead of me. This is the doubler I'm making. Once again, I cut it out of the parts car, but this part seems pretty strong. So what I've got to end up doing is cutting a hole here. I was going to cut it out to match the hole in the bottom of the filler cap, but what I decided to do is actually go in between these two rows of fasteners here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cut out. I'm going to do it off camera because fiberglass work is just so dirty and filthy, but I'll get it cut out, and then I'll show you what I do. My goal tonight is just to get this thing bonded in. So I'll get the hole cut out, I'll get this cleaned up and roughed up, and get the bottom surface in here roughed up, and then I'll get this thing glued in and let it set overnight. Actually, let it set for probably the next at least 18 hours, 18 to 24 hours. And then in the meantime, I'll be making the filler plates that are going to go in here, and that way I can get this thing all wrapped up and move forward with this fuel tank installation. Alright folks, here is my little doubler that I'm going to glue in. I've got it cleaned up, roughed up with some 36 grit. I've got the bottom side of the fuel opening same. So anyways, I'm going to use this JB Weld. I know panel bond adhesive would probably be much better, but it's like 90 bucks for a tube, and then of course they want you to buy the applicator gun for another 150 bucks. I don't know necessarily that it's needed, but at the end of the day, I believe this is going to work just fine. So I'm going to make sure that I mix it thoroughly. And I was going to use marine weld, but you only have a 5-minute working time, and I didn't want to take the chance of it setting up on me. So anyways, I'm going to use this. Basically, it sets up in 4 to 6 hours, and then it cures completely in 15 to 24 hours. Really, honestly, this is probably the perfect weather right now. It's a little bit humid, and it's 75, 80 degrees. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing glued in and let it set up overnight, and we'll see what she looks like when we're all done. So last night I got this thing glued in. I'm waiting for this epoxy to dry. It feels pretty good already, but it says to wait 16 to 24 hours, I think it is. Right now it's been about 13 or 14 hours. I think it's pretty much cured though, so I think I can go ahead and proceed forward. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this repair section cut out right here, and then I'll work on it from there. So I'm going to let it dry a little bit more while I'm doing that. Once again, this is fiberglass work. It's pretty dirty. I use my compressor a lot and it's kicking on and off, so I'll just go ahead and make the doubler, and then I'll get with you guys and show you where I'm at. So here is my filler that I made. I think it's going to fit pretty good. I've got to go ahead and cut the center hole out to match the center hole in here. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller just to get more meat on these screw holes. I think that's plenty as thick as that metal is, but this fiberglass is pretty thin, so I'm going to make it a little smaller just so I have a little bit more meat and not bust through on the edges. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get that done, and then I'll show you the results. Alright, that's it. I'm going to have to let that set up, and I'm going to do a little cleanup off the camera, but it looks like it's going to fill in pretty good. Of course, we'll have to do a little bit of body work to it, but I think it's going to, all in all, come out pretty nice. So that being said, I'm going to shut the camera off, clean this mess up a little bit, and we'll get back when it's dry. Guys, I got the fuel filler cap located at least. I got the doubler and the filler put on. I think what I'm going to do for these holes is because the ED is so small, I think I'm going to get an all-thread screw from the bottom, and I'm going to put a nut on just to hold it in place. And you can see there's a step right here, so I'll get a low-profile nut, and that should kind of take up that gap between this base plate and this flange. And then I'm going to put obviously a gasket in here. But basically that's going to be where it's at. This is something, like I said, I had to address before I put the fuel tank in. So now that I've got it located, you can see I've still got to do some body work around the seam. But really that's going to be pretty easy. It actually sits very, very flush and it looks really good. So anyways, that's going to be it for this video. I'm really excited that I got this far. Now I can go ahead and install my fuel tank. I did mention earlier that I've got to buy that easy fill gas cap, but I'm going to go ahead and get an order in on that, and that should do it for this, and then getting the fuel tank in, and then that's going to be such a huge step forward in getting this thing started. So I'm really excited about it. I want to say thank you for joining me. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel, and we hope to see you again next time. Thanks, and have a great night.